Good evening. So we'll finish the text reading today, right? So verse number 10. Now with the English translations, there will always be disagreement among different translators, because to translate it's not easy. But when I explain, then you listen carefully, okay? The English translation says, no matter whose life, it does not differ from the moments of mind. These people certainly do not perceive. These people certainly do not perceive. Thus it is rare to know the self. It's very heavy words. So what he's saying is, in the preceding verse, what we discussed was like, the way you are living is really like caring about the future and not what has happened in the past. Then in that case, just you sell yourself, right? So then again, people might think like this. This verse, and then also the following verse was, what was it? The ninth verse was, eighth verse was, if you consider future goals but not your life that is ebbing out, who would call intelligent such selling of yourself? This is like selling of yourself. Verse number 9 says, why do you do ill deeds, pledging yourself as a security? You don't care about yourself and then do the ill deeds. Of course, like the wise, you must be free of attachment to yourself. So you look like a highly enlightened being, whether you live your life. So to this, again, if you think like this, no, death will not come so easily. I'm going to live long. That's what whether you agree it right now or not, that's what we normally think. I'm going to live. As we already discussed, the past, even if like 40 years have gone, we have this thinking, past was short. It was like last night's dream. The future is long. I'm going to do so many things in the future. Right? But the reality is whether the past was long or not is dependent upon how long you are going to live. If you are going to live very, very long, then comparing to that, the past was short. If you're going to die tomorrow, then past very long. But we don't think like that. We simply think the past was just like a dream, it's already gone. Future, I'm going to do so many things. I'll do this, I'll do that, I'll do this, I'll do that. You keep on planning. So again here he's saying that, or if you are thinking that I'm going to live a long life, then as an answer to this, Aryadeva says, no matter whose life. No matter whose life is, whatever kind of life it is, first of all, what is life? Life, according to this precise understanding, he says, life means just one moment. Because if you don't count this one moment as life, then you will not count the second moment, third moment, an hour or day. Then there's no way you can count the life. So precisely speaking, living or life means just one moment. If you miss that one moment, if you lead a careless life for that one moment, then you are missing the point. Then you are not living. As I told you earlier, living is not breathing. Living is, हिंदी में बोलता है ना, जीना सिर्फ फूंकना नहीं होता है. फूंकना उगता हुआ. Sulang somba shechawa, rawa. Whoever you are, sombo sedu, kichik chikre, semji kichik le shenda yomare. No matter whose life it is, but life means just one moment. So that's all. This being the case, living means living each and every moment. That's why we are talking about meditation, mindfulness. Mindfulness means being fully alert, aware of who you are right now. Meditation means here, right now, what is happening with your body, with your mind. What are you thinking? What is happening around? That kind of alertness, mindfulness has to be there. Right? So living means one moment. If you waste that moment, or for the sake of understanding, if I say one moment is too difficult to understand, but at least this today, living alive means living today nicely. If you waste today, or this hour, or this minute, in a subtle way, this moment, then you're wasting your life. That's why we need to talk about death. That's why even non-Buddhists, some of the thinkers, they say, work as if you are going to live forever. Live as if you are going to die today. When it comes to doing the work, this is a very important statement, because some people then misunderstand this, saying that, oh, if I'm going to die and that, the time of death is indefinite, then why work, Why study? People might think like that. But because you do not know when you are going to die, even if your life is, say, one day, but because you do not know, you need to plan to live longer. So work as if you are going to live a long, long life, but live as if you are going to die today. And that knowledge, understanding will come to you by itself. If you seriously think that you are going to die today, then how you will live, you will know. How you will live. But what do you think? If you are going to die today, for example, how would that make a difference? There's the point. So there's the meaning. So whoever you are, living means it does not differ. This is the translation. But I would like to say living means living for a moment. And these people do not know, because we think living is not just living for a moment. Living means 60 years, 70 years. So right now what we are discussing is not grosser impermanence, but what we are discussing is subtler impermanence. Grosser impermanence. We can even see with our eyes, houses collapsing, people dying, those things we can see. Easier to understand. But these grosser levels of changes take place because underneath subtle levels of changes are taking place. House has collapsed because for a long time the building has been dilapidating. And we discussed this already, like the very birth is cause for death. So the work of death has started right from the birth. Young members, whether you are awake in the day, sleeping in the night, we are moving with great speed. Kichik samshi dwara mebar chida shinji tung do pangsali yugwe sumbo seya chive lamche la chedu nyechen susa tibe nangso do kyawase. Right from the first moment of the birth, you are unable to stop even for a moment without proceeding towards death. You have no control. And you are actually running. Where? Chida shinji tung do pangsali yugwe. You are running and approaching the Lord of the death. Sumbo Senya Chive Lamchen Chedo, which means even though we call ourselves as being alive, but we are on the national highway to death. Sumbo Senya Chive Lamchen Senata National Highway Lam Chive Lamchen Chedo. Nijin Sunset Tibe Nangso de Java. So this looks like a criminal that is being taken towards the place of execution. Nijin Sunset Tibe Nangso de which is. So we are thinking about this. This is very, very important because this text starts from that chapter. And many of the Kadamba masters, great teachers, they say this meditation on impermanence called Nangsal Chembo. Nangsal Chembo. Nangsal Chembo means the great practice of removing the appearance. Appearance means appearance of ordinariness. Nyenge, nawa, juchalagi, nawa, ta. Nangwanda mira yorwa gothomsa. Tuzu sangwa se dur laurta. Chome ma mangwochi ta sangwa de khakore tilamsa khali khali dusu mangwochi rembe samlo tan thoyung gore chome ba sha. Nangse chembo slogier. Teaching lo le chena shuma thao do yagu cheyung gore slaure. Ti thandar tiga khena la ti khigre das. Khawatam khamara dekhos dine lagyo mara. We are not saying that you are going to die, you're hopeless, everything is morbid, So just remain discouraged, don't do anything, feel sad. We are not saying that. We are saying the other way around. Because if you understand this one thing, this challenge of the death and so forth, your whole perception, your whole way of relationship with, your whole way of dealing with other people will completely be transformed. I had given you the example the other day, the 3 criminals. Did I give you the example of the 3 criminals? Right? Right? Yeah. 3 criminals. If there are 3 criminals, I told you, 3 criminals to be killed tonight at 10 p.m. They have only few hours to live together, then how should they live? Because now they know they will be killed tonight at 10 p.m. There's very limited time, so they will be very nice to each other. They'll do some prayer or think about something positive, being nice to each other, because they know there's no use, when you are about to die. So we are in the same situation. They have few hours, we have few years. Same situation. But when we don't understand this, then we keep on harming other people, creating suffering of other people as if they have no suffering, No matter whose life, it does not differ, no matter whose life. Life means just one moment of the mind. And ordinary people do not perceive this. We do not understand this. During both samlotan, they madogi kichi len jigdo samgi omar. Jigdo wirwa. Thus it is rare to know the self. People say that I know myself. But no, you don't know yourself. If you know yourself, then you should know that living means just one moment. But that we don't know. For us, living means longer time. And it's because of not realizing this imminence of death, impermanence and so forth. Jawajina choyunguyamare, tawajina choyungumar. They did nyokla. Jawajina, samlotang sangma, pujina, pumujina machule, pumujina, tibian, dinamal parnoe. Tatine Satunji go corne de Tawajina, Chujishega, Damaji Chechana, Migudi, Yaming de Chunga, Peshara Chunga, some Musmalavna, the Pupu, Chadir. The beautiful Tawa says your. So what I was saying was whether you're a lay person or an ordinary monk, nun, it is because of attachment to life. It is because of attachment to things. However much we pretend that we are doing Dharma practice, we are not able to do good Dharma practice. Because in the case of ordinary people, they are engrossed with so many worldly activities like, bringing the bride or sending the bride, bringing the husband, then doing business, this and that. That's how we spend our life. Even in the case of monk who is like me, who is giving teaching, but deep down you have this feeling, oh, many people listening to me, I might become famous, probably I'll get some reward, So this is called beautiful tapas. Beautiful tapas, This is like a calf that is tied to a pole. Once one of the great Kadamba teacher, he was observing. Then he saw a cow and her calf, right? So then the owner normally makes sure that the calf doesn't drink all the milk of the cow. They tie it to a pole, wooden pole. But then at a distance, the mother, what do you call it? Anyway, the cow said, oh, whatever, yeah. What do you say in English? Cow? Moo. Yeah. Oh. When the mother cow mooed. So when the mother cow mooed, then the calf really says, oh, my mother is calling me. So he just ran. But how far he can run? To the length the rope permits. Then he goes back, again tries to run, goes back, again tries to go to the mother. Every time he goes, this is the pole. Every time he goes around, the rope becomes shorter, and finally, having his head here, tied here, he dies. Just like this pole, whether it's your relatives, friends, wealth, this is your pole. Tila go khorden. Even in ordinary life, we don't achieve much success because we are clinging and grasping on to something, small things. Chimut chema tu chuchik bugi chamare. Laga chenda ina chungjung chilung go thomde. Ina chimut du si thuwe amar. Dire. Rwa? Lodik. Thus it is rare to know the self. Verse number 11. Now, for example, again, if you say, yes, I know living is not very long, short, just one moment. But there are many moments. It's just one moment, not just one moment. You have one moment, you live one moment, then die. It's not like that. Good logic. So there are many moments. This moment, this moment, this moment. So continuity of this moment is quite long. So I'm going to live long. Right? So therefore still you think that if you're going to live, then he says, first of all, you did not understand what I'm saying. What I was saying, yes, there are many moments, but you need to live every moment. If you're unable to live or make use of every moment, it's like dying every moment. Doesn't matter you are breathing. Life is not just breathing, as I said, number one. Number two, your liking to live long. All of us like to live long. Your liking to live long and disliking old age is contradiction. It's a big contradiction. If you want to live long, then you should also rejoice getting gray hair, wrinkles on the face, crooked back, limping legs, whatever, You should also welcome that. Because this is the package. This is the package. Nothing comes value free. This is the package. So that's why verse number 11 is saying, you are liking to live long and disliking old age. Amazing. You must be extraordinary person. So this is actually like a sarcastic remark. amazing. Your behavior seems right to people like you. He's making a sarcastic statement. He says, this kind of behavior is definitely not excellent or special behavior. This is a behavior which will be appreciated by another stupid people whose thinking is exactly like you. You would like to live long, but listen like all the amazing. Your behavior seems right to people like you. Rava, these are very, very important teachings. What we are actually saying is, what he is saying is accept reality. Reality is you are going to die. Reality is old age is going to come. If you accept all this, when these things happen, number one, you will prepare. For example, for death, you will prepare also. There are preparations to be done, and you can avoid death, you can stop death, that is also possible. Even in the case of old age, if you do that, if you realize that, accept it, there are ways to postpone aging these days. Through exercises, through proper food, and disease also. If you accept the possibilities of death and disease, then you can live a life, like proper diet, proper exercise, and so forth. There are people who are very good in those, and they hardly get sick. Most of us get sick because wrong way of life. We don't know what we are eating. We just threw everything inside. And then all the kind of countless processed, food and packaged food, horrible things are there nowadays. And you don't think at all. We are unable to judge, unable to analyze, just like small kids, Until you get food poison, you don't realize. I mean, look at the recent fire in London. People should have thought about this long time before. But with the construction, with combustible like wood and other things, so many people, 78 or 79 people lost their life. Now, they are making a law and checking each and every high-rise building, So all this should be done before, like Dharamsala. God forbid a big earthquake doesn't come. If it comes, the constructions we have done around, you see, no proper permit, no proper good material, So all these practical things, not just big things. We should really be alert, aware what is going to happen in terms of the building, in terms of my health, in terms of health of my brothers, sisters. And if you are able to do that, you will live a very happy and healthy life. And you will die peacefully. So these are all, he's teaching this because we suffer unnecessarily because of lack of awareness. Number one, not at all aware. And that's why we call Buddha the fully awakened one. Meaning we are sleeping in ignorance. So with this kind of awareness, you can completely change your life. Right? Verse number 12. Verse number 12 is saying, that there's no point to develop too much attachment to others, be it your son, be it your, other relatives. Now this verse is written because we normally think that yes, it is true. I want to live long, but I don't want aging and death. This is true. But at the same time, I cannot help feeling sad when my children die, when my son dies. So for me, I will try to tolerate, but if my children, relatives, dear and near ones die, then I can't tolerate. I get sad. This is what we say. So to this he says, you are feeling sad when your relatives and son die because of attachment, and it's of no use to you. So he says, And first of all, you're feeling sad to the death of your child and so forth is stupid, because you don't feel sad when you yourself is dying. Why do you grieve at death on account of your child or others? Even the one that laments is a victim. How is that not reprehensible? I don't agree with this translation. But what he's saying is, it is worthy that you feel sad when you think about your own death. This being the case, first you should think about your own death, then think about the death of other people. If you're already an enlightened person who has no attachment to oneself and also reached the state of immortality, then it's proper that you don't worry about yourself and worry about others. But you have not reached that state. So first think about your own death and think about solving that problem. Then it makes sense to think about or feel sad about the death, death of your children and so forth. Right? So therefore what he's saying is, Rangni choja sage doa. Rangni choja mawanese. Rangni choja means susur rangni chidaki noba chesa chobar chavasana noba chesa yimba hi hindu. And ti tona majevechene. Any susupugula sawa dil any tishie de la simde yusilabna. Ti mera taire. It's referenceable. When you have no realization that you yourself is harmed by death. When you have no idea about that and then say that I worry about the death of my children and so forth, this is something that should be discouraged. Reprehensible, I don't know, something like that should be discouraged. It doesn't make sense. Discouraged by people who have realized higher spiritual levels. So what he's saying in a way is, as and when you see the death of other people, you should immediately be able to think, I am not exception. That is, in a way, that's what he's saying. And we see so many people dying. But it never occurs to us, next will be my turn. Right? Because you remain. Instead of being able to remember your own death, if you see some of your relatives and friends die, then you get completely stupefied, You lose your sense. You're unable to think, unable to feel. He says, no, don't do that. You should immediately think, I am no exception. Therefore, while I have time, I will start doing good things. Verse number 13. Again, if you try to say, no, I feel sad if my child or son dies, because the child, without asking me that he is going, he left. Now, ordinarily, if your son or child leaves you without saying anything, you feel sad, right? So like that, if you say that my child didn't say anything and he died, he left, so I feel very sad. Then in this verse he gives the answer. If unrequested someone has become your son, when someone becomes your son or daughter, have they come to you requesting that, please be my father, please be my mother? Have you got this request first? They never made this request to start with. They just became your son and daughter. They never made a request. So when they die also, they go without telling you, so what is big deal? become your son, it is not unreasonable if he lives without having asked. And then the next verse, he's saying, this is one way of answering, but another way of answering is that it is not that he did not inform you, but because you are ignorant, you are stupid, you did not understand his signals. Meaning, only because of your confusion, your ignorance, you did not notice your son's indication that he's going. Like for example, your child or somebody when he's sick, or some of your relatives who's getting old, and these are all indications saying that I'm going. But you're ignorant, you never take notice of these things. Somebody is sick, he might die, somebody is getting old, he might die. These are all indications. But you're unable to read these signals. So it is, whether it's in our case, other people's case, when you get Chitta Shinjigan da power says your go karvocha, when you get good hair, white hair, wrinkles or no hair, these are indications when your teeth are falling out, your vision's becoming blurred. These are indications that you are getting old. So therefore, at the time of the Buddha, it was probably a practice that people used to look at the mirror very often to see what changes are taking place. But we want to pretend. Even if you're a very elderly person, you want to pretend with like some, I'm fine, You don't want to talk about aging, you don't want to talk about sickness, you don't want to talk about death, you see, that's the problem. Especially in today's world. In today's world, people live under huge pretension, and pretension doesn't work. Reality will show its ugly face very soon. At that time, then you are caught unprepared. So verse number 14 says, only because of your confusion, you did not notice your son's indication that he's going. His enthusiasm to go. Enthusiasm is actually a direct translation, but actually it will be better to use the word his wish to go. I mean, when somebody is going to die, unless you are a very spiritually highly enlightened person, there will be no enthusiasm. Okay? His will to go or something like this, shown by his growing old. This one? And this is also saying that when you are confused, when you are ignorant, you are unable to know many things. So therefore better you remove your ignorance. Of all types. Of all types. Verse number 15. Even if you say, yeah, these are all true, but still I have so much attachment to my child. Again, if you say that this is all true, but I have so much, attachment to my child, so I can't bear the separation. I get so much suffering. This is answered by saying, number one, on a realistic ground, a son or child does not love his father or mother as much as the father or mother loves the child. Is this true? It looks like quite true. Normally the parents, they show so much love to their children. The children, especially when they grow up, are able to look after themselves a little bit less. Not necessarily true with everybody, but generally speaking. There are many reasons for that. We'll read that later on. So therefore, it is not worthwhile to shower excessive attachment, because just as you have as a father or mother, just as you have love to your children, they don't have that amount of love to you. That's the reality. Right? So therefore, from this we can also see that the younger generation should also love their parents, elders equally. Because if we don't do that, then this world will go down. Meaning there is no respect to the seniors, the elderly people who love them, who take care of them. So this is degeneration of moral values. So there's one meaning that he wants to give. The second meaning that he wants to give is the attachment itself is a bad thing. It will produce many sufferings. Therefore, it is improper to develop that attachment. And then in the next verse number 16, he's saying, and you think your love is unalloyed, pure love. But honestly speaking, if you look carefully, your love is very much contaminated. Even parents, they don't love all the children equally. So verse number 16 says, because you said, oh, this is genuine love, So as an answer to this verse is saying, no, your love is also not very genuine. Because even if somebody is your child, but if that child is not very, very agreeable to your thinking, to your way of life, then normally you will have less love. This child doesn't listen to me. This child's behavior is not good. This child also, you may not say this one, but your mind will think this child also not very attractive. Among the children, one who is like cute, attractive, parents love that more actually, generally speaking. So therefore don't say your love is pure. When he is disobedient, as I am saying, when he is disobedient, no one will call him lovable. In that case, attachment is nothing but a transaction, it's a business. Right? But of course, parents' love to children is much better than the love between husband and wife. Love between husband and wife, generally speaking, very much business, transaction. Because there you say, I love you so long as you love me. That's business. Parents, much less. They will probably not say that to their children that if you don't love me, I will not love you. A little bit less. Anyway, there's an element of business there in ordinary love. So what he's saying is don't bring up this business love, but rather you give genuine love with the realization that whoever they are, they want happiness, do not want suffering. Okay? Verse number 17. And then even this so-called attachment that you have, even if it is alloyed, contaminated, but your attachment to somebody, the love with attachment is reliable, constant, then still there is some understandable reason. But that's not the case. The love with attachment that you say you have to your children and so forth, that is very, very short-lived. Verse number 17. Suffering caused by separation is quickly gone from human hearts. Let us say your husband died today. Okay, today you will cry. Tomorrow also may be sad. Maybe 1 week, 2 weeks. How long are you going to remain sad? You meet another nice person, you get married and completely forget. Isn't this true? So nobody will have this love Although we make this big declaration, I love you forever. Forever is impossible. Unless I'm talking about ordinary love. Forever, love forever is possible with unalloyed, uncalculating love. Not the business love. Business love means so long as you can do the business, you love. When there's no business, no gain, no profit, forget. Bye-bye. Now this is proved. He says suffering caused by separation is quickly gone from human hearts. See too attachment's instability. This you can see with the instability of attachment. Attachment, that love with attachment doesn't last long. Indicated by suffering and suffering's end. That suffering comes from attachment, and the fact that the attachment or love that you have is not very strong can be found by the ending of suffering after 1 month, 2 months. Verse number 18. This is very funny. Verse number, now because this teacher came up with all these reasons of uselessness of this ordinary love, attachment, grasping of permanence, so forth. Then finally he says, yeah, I understand all this. Now I got what you are saying. But I am not an enlightened person. I have to live like an ordinary person. You see, I'm an ordinary person. So when somebody dies, I have to go there, I have to cry. Even though I know that this is of not much benefit, but still I have to do that. If you say things like that. Then he says, then as an answer to this, the teacher says, knowing that it is of no benefit, still if you feel sad and cry and injure yourself, then that means you are a real hypocrite. You are doing something which you do not believe. So therefore this is very, very improper. It sounds very true because we imitate other people. All activities are imitations, and whoever does the best imitation is called a scholar. So very fond of aping other people. So therefore he's saying, don't just imitate other people, don't just do what other people are doing, but use your common sense, use your wisdom, what good is there with this kind of attachment and so on. Again he tries to answer this by saying, yeah, that is also true. But you see that the person who is, going to die, of course he will go. But after he's gone, but still his relatives, they remain behind. So I need to continue my relation with these people. So therefore, even if I don't have much suffering, but still I have to act as if I am suffering and go to them, So to this he answers, people in this world wander, full as it were of suffering. Why filled with suffering? People who already suffer. That means the people who remain behind after the death of their near and dear ones, they are full of suffering. So why don't you stop acting in the old way, stop attachment, and do something which will reduce their suffering instead of just joining their party and producing more suffering. 처음에 봐 망고지. 다 등선 소당당 되는 거두기. 소당스를 다 중음이 그 뒤서래도 중음 잡에 뒤서 다 아다 먹으려 되는데 자루도. So don't do that. Pesha you don't do in a karina. This is exactly like Dory. Don't do this. Show your mother in the chicken. So we cannot turn the hakon go chung so pig the tapa chever madogi. That's all left left the chalan your mother day waiting. Mirror lepet, Taksho did a kangang, the jam the day with the looks who can't have in the country. Targo things. To say Yakumare, machine. What I was saying was like in the Tibetan community also these days when there is a song offering. Song offering means normally there is a simple offering, you see. And then they just to get the blessing, they distribute few things. But it doesn't have to be an occasion to show off how much you can give. It's not really giving, just unfortunately it's really show off. So these days if somebody dies or something, then they make a song offering like, they buy so many things. The implication, if somebody dies from a poor family, if they have to also act like the rich people, buying all these goodies to distribute to their countless neighbors and so forth. This will become like a dowry system in India. There's no other contest that in a country. The Chujumado, Yakumundu. Densala identity or Geshe Lhakdor said, then Peta Pesha Tang, that Tongo Tangro, that Tongo Tang, Pesha Suchi, that Tavichi, that Kaji Pesha member, long yard. That thing's not how here. This is the chosen. Nazungoma Geshe Tango Tangado, the Geshe Lhakdor and Nikundu Sungjures, another Ropani. Any chick in the Chilian said, chick in the gig, that J. Jabgris, Gudu set about this. Also cut in the Javier Maria Yomare. Also Tango Tata, Sun Mato Mess, loved and Dore. No Dinichido. Any something Goma the way, something Simjay Mambo say. Any Gavachi or Dikwachi, how we melted. That is what the Hazredo. Right? Verse number 20. Verse number 20 is best. Gradually now he's summarizing by saying, so in this verse number 20 he's saying, so in short, you should not get obsessed with this cycle of existence. Make sure you're able to distance yourself from this stay in the samsara. Try to come out of it. So for this you need to understand few realities. One is, verse number 20 says, Yeah, I know that they will all die, they'll get separated, you see. But meeting is so important. When we meet, we stay together for a long time. I enjoy that. If you say things like that, then he says, this is stupid. If you say, if meeting is a joy to you, and also with understanding, we'll stay together for a long time, so I enjoy that, so I like meeting, you see. Even though I understand separation, but because there is a meeting, so I can tolerate it. If you say things like that, then it says, first of all, you are wrong, because meeting is not long, parting is long. Like, for example, the meeting, at the most one life, let us say our relatives. Even within this life, when you grow up, then these days particularly, you go to all different directions. The husband goes to the army, the wife stays in the home, hardly meet in a year. There are many cases like that. Then on the day when you die, never to meet. Separation is actually very long. Meeting is very short. But because of our confused mind, we think meeting is not only joy, but we can stay together for a long time. So as an answer to this, he says, if meeting is a joy to you, why is parting not also joy? Because this is again one package. Do not meeting and parting both seem to go together? They go together in the sense that if there's no meeting, there's no parting. So right at the time when you meet somebody, you should know this is for parting. In our ordinary life, we don't know, because that's why we don't want to meet people. Even among the family members, When they meet, initially, oh, I sound like Levi, I could live a Gondoko huge. And you make a shade that I can't do it like Rennie. Lagre Mare, this is Laguangashi. Tiny Koran, the Nanger, that Dilkan, that can't carry Jimaro. The Kalikali di Langer. And the Jablola laying, a shooting laying. That son goes home to Kadu, Pekali do it. That Tamboyan Dutch of the way. Gandoko huge. Tele Tambone, that dear Naranga Samjur, Tambone, Suda Sulina, Deva the Nyanjang Ringdung Yombo, Chenia weir. Jangran, the Deva Meva, the name, near town a bed, Kid Dam de the name, but Nyanjang Ringbo, Yona, not the Medua me. Nam Tamogoli, me Sugrawangazo, that made the trade to go, made trade to go to Nyanjang Yombo de Godoa. Tangal to go do se made the Lawachanda. Secret. Rwa, a ring down to the Yungundo. Chidukota, Mikuma is never go to the Yamja ring bochuna. Yagayar. Shinda Mikuma Pashan, Sanje, the Lama Denina, Lamechin of Young Nature like Dua. Yetana, you ring dona Sanje Kyoya Tongsala, you dosana, Sanje like Tonga, ending on the Tagin Korotai, Suzuta Goy the Maton Tongmarwa, and Tagoy the Tonga, and Kyoya Tonga. So therefore, in our relationship also, the distance should be not too close, not too far. Just like seeking the warmth of the fire. During winter or cold season, if you want to seek the warmth of the fire, you should maintain an appropriate distance. Not go get too close to the fire. Don't touch the fire. It will burn you. If you stay too far away, then you will not get the warmth. So sometimes much of our problem is we ourselves are confused, they are also confused, then two confused people stay together, of course there will be a problem. This next verse is more or less saying the same thing. When the past is beginningless and the future endless, why do you notice being together? That means when you talk about past, it's beginningless, very long. When you talk about future, also endless. So why do you think this short meeting, being together, is long or longer than the past and the future? But not, why do you notice being together and pay focus attention to that, and don't pay attention to the other two, the separation, though they may be long, right? Verse number 22. You come up with very interesting observations. Then now here if you say, yes, I know, I like meeting and being together, but there's separation, there's death, so I get sad, I get suffering. But I do not suffer all the time. Because sometimes during good season, there are flowers, nice forests, birds singing, so I go with my friend. So this kind of like enjoyments, lessen my suffering, lessen my problem. If you come up with such an answer, then he says, time consisting of instants and so forth, you think you can enjoy with the change of time and season, especially if there are flowers coming and so forth. But it says, if you look carefully, time again means few instants and so forth. So in the real sense of the time, these changes will not give you long-lasting peace and happiness. They are only distractions. We are not saying that you can't enjoy, you can't go out, you can't see beautiful flower. But what we are saying is, if you think these are source of your long-lasting peace and happiness, it is wrong. They are actually like enemy. Because many of these external, beauties and things like that, they for an unenlightened mind, they are huge distraction. Huge distraction. term consisting of instants and so forth is certainly like enemy because they are distractions. Therefore, never be attached to that which is your enemy. So they are like enemy. So you are saying that you are attached to that is like having attachment to your enemy. Verse number 23. Now he's asking that in order to give up cyclic existence, you should stay in a place of solitude. In other words, in this way, if you repeatedly remember death, then you will be able to see meaninglessness in many of these objects and things where we develop so much attachment, and thus your mind will automatically develop this sense of renunciation. Renunciation is not in the sense of, for example, if you're a rich man, then renunciation doesn't mean that you throw all your things from the window or give it away. It's mentally giving up the clinging. Timajena ya Geshe Miller River kabla miji chungre. Geshe Miller River ta changma pang ne shu yo za hang san ngai Geshe Miller River na chi chingin se chala sama parte sute yu. Ene nyima ni sum jil kal khadwa ko. Geshe Miller River sing de khora pang go se ngai pang go so. So there's a story, if you so renunciation doesn't mean that you throw away everything. You don't have anything. You torture yourself. No, renunciation means giving up clinging to things. If you don't give up clinging, to things, simply throwing away your wealth and goods is not the solution. And it actually happened at the time of the famous meditator Milarepa, who really lived like a wild animal, running away from people, completely naked. Have you heard about Milarepa? Very famous. This is his biographies, his songs. 100,000 songs are available in English also. Amazing, and we cannot think about becoming like that. He used to run away from people. And then because this man has given up everything means everything. And actually I have in my life met such meditators in Dalhousie. When I was a student in Dalhousie school many years back, and then some of the students of Tehor Kyorpen Rinpoche, he was a great scholar, great practitioner, who escaped from Tibet when China invaded Tibet. He is known as modern Milarepa, a very famous teacher. So he was of course not there when I was there, but his student, one of his brother, I still remember, Gelik, and then some other, I think there was also one nun, 5-6 of them, Rinpoche also. So my teacher in the school, a religious teacher in the school, knew somebody, an English lady, who wanted to, help somebody, some monks meditating, things like that. Then my teacher said, these are real meditators, so you should give your support to these people. So my teacher wanted me to come with him to translate. So when I went there, I could not believe my eyes. They had virtually nothing. Stone piles, and then this canvas cover, that is their room. And they have like thick, faded garment just to keep them warm. Apart from that, nothing. I wish I had taken photos, but I was very poor student at that time. Really, 5-6 of them. At that time, the lady who was sponsoring was giving 100 rupees only. Except one, none of them received that money. I may die tomorrow, so what I have to do with this paper, they said. Of course, we will not be able to do that, and even the text probably is not asking all of us to do that. It is not easy. But as His Holiness the Dalai Lama says, 50-50. His Holiness the Dalai Lama is very skillful. He always says 50-50 means 50 for this life, 50 for future life, or for greater good, whatever you want to call it. So renunciation will arise, develop if you recollect death. So therefore he's saying that you should, if possible, leave your house and become an ordained monk, nun, and go into the forest, meditate, things like that. Now when you ask to that, if you say that this sounds good, but it's very difficult for me to get separated from my relatives and so forth, and because of that I cannot leave my home. If you say things like that, then as an answer to this is saying, fool, because you fear separation, you do not leave home. Who that is wise does under punishment what must certainly be done. That means right now you are saying, I appreciate those good practices in solitude, but I cannot go because I fear separation from my relatives. To this, the teacher says, you're a fool, because separation will come. Whether you do it now or do it later, separation will come. If you do it now, it's great because you're doing it out of your choice. If you do it later because of death and so forth, then it's not out of your choice. So therefore you are a fool. Fool because you fear separation, you do not leave home and move to a place of solitude to do spiritual practice. Who that is wise does under punishment what must certainly be done, because later you will have to do it under punishment of the death or whatever. Then again, if you try to answer back by saying that yes, now I got your point, I want to go to place of solitude, leave home, but still I have some things to finish. I have some things to finish. For example, I have to finish, right now I'm constructing a house, I have to finish it, I have to get my daughter married, I have to complete that, and after all this is done, then I'll go to the forest to do meditation and so forth. Verse number 24. So to this he answers by saying, you may think you must obviously go to the forest once this has been done, that has been done, and so forth. But whatever you get done, all this you have done, you have to leave behind. So what is the point of doing all this? Whatever you do must be left behind. So what is the value of having done it? It's very difficult to sing in. These are high talks. Tina page shardua. The lamgan do tin the chokbang go de ya du. And the chuye da sang ma su. Any of sang ma su and you do shana. Chodu ge silavreda. Chomudo adi. What did our race or Tambuchi is here, Takuja sang ma su, the Juma payment, you here. It's really like collecting rubbish, cleaning them and then leaving it. Last verse. What is the benefit of thinking like this on death, impermanence? So the last verse is concluding that point by saying, whoever with certainty has the thought, I'm going to die, having completely relinquished attachment, why would they fear even the Lord of Death comes? So that's the main point. All the troubles, fightings, fears, disagreements, conflicts come because of obsession with things, because of attachment with things. So even if you are unable to, develop full understanding of the death and have that fear day and night, even if you are unable to do that, but if you have some inkling of idea about impermanence, death, your attachment will be lessened, or obsession will be less. Attachment actually means getting stuck with something. If you get attached with something, if you get obsessed with something, it means you are getting stuck with something. For example, this one, if I think this is very nice, then I say, oh, this is very nice, I want to have it. I touch it, right? I thought I got it, but look at my hand. My hands are stuck. My hands are not free. Right? So it's like that. It's really like that. Of course, Buddha is not saying that we should all become beggar, because even in terms of practice, he said it should be middle way. Don't lead a luxurious life, or don't lead the life of a beggar also. Okay? But what he's saying is this obsession, this grasping, this clinging will kill you. Juchala gore sulaina. Ina juchala mena hintam bardam sigdo anganjo. Mikashi juchala ngam sem chibodini hisarne lugundu sigdo chala. Yore dinipke. Otinde member chen. Then you will be, if you don't have this strong grasping and clinging and obsession with things, you will then be able to breathe free. So that's the point. Now this is, we have to test it. Now we have to do meditation. But medaba insu samlota. Rawada chive kola samlota. Tasu me susu samlota. Now in our case we should think, we should start thinking about this impermanence. What does that mean? Impermanence means nothing will last long forever. Impermanence means change. Not necessarily death and destruction. Change means possibilities of removing the bad things, possibilities of doing the good things. And then you can think, how old are you now? Count your age. How many more years you think you can live? What had you accomplished during the last 10, 15, 20 years, depending upon your age? What do you hope to accomplish in the remaining of your life? This, I think, very, very important to do this kind of analysis. Then there is hope that you will, hopefully focus more on important things, less on stupid, silly, useless things. I'm not saying you don't enjoy, right? I'm not saying you feel sad, don't enjoy. I'm not saying that. Even His Holiness enjoys. I'm not saying that. But what he's saying is, time after time, day after day, just wasting your time, It's there in the text. The story, I'll tell you this story, then I'll stop. The story says there was somebody who came to a separate land for a business, but his actual home was very far away, and it's very difficult for him to go alone with his merchandise and things like that. But there was no friend going there, so he had to wait for many, many days. And then suddenly somebody said, good news. Now 5-6 people from the same place from you have come, they are going tomorrow. He was not prepared. They are going tomorrow, but still, oh, this is very good news. I must start selling things, giving things, settling the account, whatever, so that he is able to join this group tomorrow. And when he was in that process of departing tomorrow, then he met some other people. He said, oh, we have a party, please come, join the drink, sing a song. He said, no, I have no time to sing. I'm sorry, I'm very busy, I'm leaving tomorrow. So if you have this sense of like living or dying any time, then you have actually less time for singing or all these things. I'm not saying you should not enjoy, but what I'm saying is, as His Holiness is saying, 50-50. Because the end result is your life will be not only about afterlife, this very life will be completely refined. You will be a totally different person if you think and meditate on this inescapable reality. So therefore, as the Buddha said, I've shown you the path to Nirvana, Nirvana is up to you. So you need to really think a little bit. Every morning do a little bit of meditation, or even otherwise learn to sit a little bit quiet just by oneself. Because at the end of the day, you need to know this, going by yourself, living by yourself. Right? Go a little bit within, do this meditation, breathing meditation and so forth. And breathing meditation, I don't have time to explain, but breathing meditation is actually also, I briefly explained, but very good for your health also. This breathing, especially breathing through your, nasal breathing, not from the mouth, nasal breathing, is the remote control to control your brain. It's the remote control of your brain. It's directly linked to many important parts of your brain. And then also, like, for example, if you're going to a meeting or going to discuss an important point with somebody, especially a difficult meeting, then before you go there, try to breathe, take long breath. That will settle your mind, and you will be in a much better position to attend that meeting or discuss the problematic issues with those people, because your mind is more cool. And when your mind, through breathing, when your mind settles down, then you get new ideas, what I should be discussing, what I should be saying. But without preparation, if you just go like that, you might start fighting. Right? So there are a lot of things that we need to discuss, but I will conclude, and I must say that life is not lost by dying. Life is not lost by dying. Life is lost minute by minute, day by day, by living a life which does not care anybody. If we lead an uncaring life, then that is equal to death. Right? So therefore, thank you very much for attending this 5 days discussion on the first chapter of Aryadeva's 400 verses. And I'm highly encouraged and very happy with so many young Tibetans coming and showing so much interest. But your interest, your attempt should not be short-lived. And try to read this beautiful text. There are many more. I read only first chapter. It has 18 chapters. Now you should be curious about what other chapters are talking about. It's so beautiful, so interesting. And in fact, 1 or 2 people already came to me, said they wanted to study Bodhicharya and things like that, whether I get time or things like that. I said, I will get time if you are interested, you see. So I'm not saying you should all come, but discuss it. If there are few people interested, we can also do that in Tibetan this time for the benefit of the young Tibetans, right? So the time, other things we can discuss. Okay. Do you have any questions? Yeah.
I was wondering about...
So today we'll stay here until 9. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah.
I was wondering about how we can engage in life and everything that requires without being sucked in by it.
What was the question? How can we?
How can we engage in life and everything that life requires of us without being totally sucked in by it?
Exactly. There you need to know the meaning of your life. Meaning of your life is, as I said, happiness, satisfaction. Satisfaction doesn't necessarily come from what is outside of you. The real satisfaction comes when you have a precise understanding of the way things are, when you're able to see the limitations of the amount of happiness, peace that you can get from outside, with this understanding, then you should be able to say, enough is enough. This much I need, this other people have, yes, there are many rich people, but I don't have to act like everybody. Like for example, in my own case, I'm not saying I'm great or practitioner, nothing, I'm nobody, but just telling how I am. I'm one of those stupid fellows. Really, I count myself as one of the stupid fellows, because when I was in the school, all I knew was just study and obey the teacher, just study, observe the discipline, just study. Wherever I'm like that. So that way, in a way, stupid, because I got opportunity to go to America and so forth like 20 years back, when they give you just 10 years multi-entry visa like that. But stupid as I am, when they are came back, like that. So in a way, stupid. Now I realize that was not a big mistake. It was in fact good for me, because I kept on doing what I'm doing, so I'm satisfied. Right now, for example, I'm not at all implying that I'm good at, please be sure about that. But what I'm saying is, I am really very happy. Some people come to me, Geshe, you're working very hard. Are you not tired? I said, I'm not stupid. If I'm tired, I'll take rest. I'm not working under the gun of a Chinese leader. I am working with full of happiness and peace, that I'm able to do little contribution to our culture and things like that. And I have a small place to sleep, food to eat, what else I need? So that's what I'm saying, you see. Completely happy, that much I can say. But if my happiness is measured in terms of rich people, then they'll say, oh, he's really living like, where he's living is like a pig's place, they may think like that. So what I'm saying is, I'm not saying that you should not have happy life, you should not have facilities. I'm not saying that. There's no problem. But again, obsession, wanting more and more. This will kill you, more and more. How much? When will you be satisfied? Never. Unless you learn to know the limit, you will never be satisfied. Kasange lawa dere, jawo jahi se nya to lang se kang es ke yamare. So de chen do chun chog che ma na. Grass is greener on the other side. Then far den phagi kim do khoya rigal chamjam do lagwi wa ngan phagi ga chi chu de ya nga kharche phagi ngan chu de sai ki bu do. The much is really dependent upon how you see things. So what these teachings are saying is, to make a summary, what this teaching is saying is, you should not destroy and waste your precious life for material accumulation. As simple as that. Milyutsa chimbo thoba devadi changi chunga tondal sozuki misi deya samlo mazane rawa. Di choya marase di marwa. Ningje pesha tonda magla chin hi. Pesha tonda la be lega ninga sawa dine chin hi kasi da tangare. Zambalin chidang mi hi khona la nimare le robro chena boom chik de cheka las nima chik li hi yor se war zambalin na. Ta tingsa de sama ji jabin kudwa. No tindire. Ta de mangbo chik be ke mendo mi misis choske. People, because they don't have understanding, they have no regard at all to their life. They just keep on running to get something what is outside of them. And then in the end, they come empty-handed. Did I tell you this story of Alexander the Great? No? Probably I was talking to the Emory students. Alexander the Great, who was a great warrior and controlled many parts of Asia, looting, killing, controlling everybody. Then it is said that on his final days, when he was on his deathbed, he asked some of his helpers or generals, whoever, to bring all the sacks of gold that he has looted. Sacks and sacks of gold. asked them to bring all these sacks of gold and put it before him. Then he spread his hand and died. There's a story like that. He was saying that, look, I have looted all this, destroyed so many people, but I'm going empty-handed. So with this kind of contemplation, if you dedicate our life more for making others happy, see, people who are suffering, then you will feel so happy, there will be genuine satisfaction within yourself. Because it's in your nature. In Delhi, just all of you have done this. I've done small things like that. Once I go to Delhi very often. Once I was in Delhi, then a little girl, with disabled hair, she came begging with her little hand, I feel very sad whenever I see these small hands, especially poor people, I feel very sad. I start thinking why they came into this world. With this small eye, with hope, with small hand, what are they getting, you see? If people don't have that love, people don't have that affection, very difficult. So I met this little girl with disabled hair. She was begging with her little hand. I gave her 10 rupees. Big generosity. 10 rupees. So she took that and then went on the other side of the road. And I was going somewhere, so I took this three-wheeler. When I was getting into the three-wheeler, she was still waiting and looking at me. And she waved me with her 10 rupees. It's a big thing for her. So there's always plenty of room to help others. So we need to learn to do that. It will make a difference in other people's life. But at the same time, again with wisdom. If you don't use wisdom, then again it will be like encouraging the beggars, So that jimbatang la yore, jimbatang situ jimbatang gore labde thukre kyo sigo mare. Kosun de mise de te de jimbatang sigo mare. Jimbatang so that is lob jan hingoro. Jimbatang na khadyu tanga, sulatanga, mangyung khartanga, karimetanga, tu samma pejana yore. Tu hiena, jidang ina yanko Pango mango pay the day in a subject in imitate in Yungudua. Chita or the Redo. Right? Thank you.
I'd like to say one thing.
Yeah.
Especially, thank you for explaining these two verses, especially 20 and 21.
Yeah.
If meeting is a joy to you, why is parting not also joy?
Yeah.
Do not meeting and parting both seem to go together?
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of young people, as you were saying. The reason I want to say this is Buddhism started in India, and being an Indian, one of the reasons when you were explaining this, the first thought that came to my mind, it tells me why from India Buddhism was kind of evicted by Brahmanism. Because in Brahmanism, this is too much emphasized, that you are married for 7 lives. Your husband is your God.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and here it is so beautifully given about human relationship and the frailty of it and not depending on it. So
Exactly.
I think these two verses also should be given a lot of emphasis. And
Exactly.
explaining it.
Exactly.
This is
Exactly.
really, really beautiful because I don't know something about the land of India. You tend to see bounty here and you tend to get very attached to everything, to the material things here.
Yeah. It's not just India, but everybody. Yeah.
You have the religion with you.
Yeah.
And for bringing it back here, but unfortunately most Indians haven't been able to appreciate it in the right spirit as yet.
But from 30th of this month, we have more than 30, 35, 40, Indian university-going students who will be spending 1 month in Dharamsala, and I'll be explaining Nagarjuna's letter to friend to them. So the interest is really growing. And this is a very good observation because the very reason you love people is because they are going away. So while you are living together, be nice. That's what he is saying. Okay, thank you.